I would like to go over the assignment. In this assignment, you will be uploading an image file, you will be giving the user a message, and you will also display the file on that result page. The scenario here is that there is a photo contest. I am asking for the name and email. The email is not required for the assignment. It is just there because the scenario would need an email address to contact the winner. The form has been validated with HTML5, so you will be receiving a value for all of the form fields. So I have filled out the form, I have chosen a file, and now I will upload. Here you see some test information for myself so that I can actually see the different values that are being returned by the attributes of the $_files super global variable. You always want to test to make sure that your values are correct. Here we see the thank you message, and notice this is a pretty big photo. Notice the file name of the photo here. Notice although it is a .jpeg extension, the type is image/jpeg. Notice I have no errors because the errors attribute is set to 0. If you look at the source code, here's my output, and here is the image element. The image element was created using PHP. I have concatenated the HTML with the file name, which is returned by the $_files global variable. Now I'm going to try to upload a text file. Notice it says, please upload a JPEG or a PNG file. Notice I get an error message. So you need to test to make sure that the file type is the correct file type. If not, you will give the user an error message. So it stands to reason that the success message and the image are all going to take place after we have made sure that everything is correct. So let's look at some of the code concepts here. The first thing we always want to do is to make sure that this page is being accessed from the form. There are several ways of approaching this, so the choice is up to you, although you will probably be initializing some variables at some point. I am storing my values from the form. Again, you do not need the email. I just did it anyway. Before you start working with the file upload, you want to make sure that indeed you have the file upload and that there are no errors. Even though we did validate this with HTML5, it's always good to double check. So we have these two contingencies here. We want to make sure that the file has been sent, and we also want to make sure that there are no errors. Now, this is using the $_files super global variable, which contains information about the file that is uploaded. This variable does not place that file in a folder. It just uploads it to a temporary location. If you wanted to store these different attributes of the $_files global variable into individual variables, you can. Or you can use them just as they are. Either way is fine with me. I am using the variables because these are very lengthy expressions, and I did have my test echo statements, which are commented out. Here is my echo with my print_r, just showing me very easily because this returns the associative array key value pairs. So here's our if statement that's checking the file type, and this is given to you in the handout. We want to make sure that we have either a JPEG or we have a PNG file. So if it is not the correct file, we give the user the error message. At this point, everything should be okay, so all of my code is going to be in my else. At this point, I will use the move_uploaded file function to actually move that from the temporary folder into the uploads folder. I also have a flag here for the photo. When the page loads, you do not want this image statement being read because you're going to get an error message because the source of that image does not exist yet. And it may not exist if the user does not upload the correct file. So this echo statement is inside an if, and this is in the body, and we have to make sure that we know when to execute it. So therefore, I am using this flag variable $photo_OK to determine when to execute this echo statement. Once everything is fine in my else, I move the file to the Uploads folder. I set my photo and I set the message. The HTML file is given to you. You will need to code in the action. You can name it whatever you'd like. I have coded in method equals post and the encoding type because we have a file upload here. Here we have our type equals file, which is uploading our image, and all of our form elements have the required attribute. So you will be processing this form with a separate PHP file. You will be retrieving the information. If the user uploads an image with a JPG, JPEG, or PNG file extension, that photo will be uploaded. Again, this is my test up here. You will have a message thanking them, and you will show the photo that they have submitted. We're familiar with using the $_server request method to make sure that our PHP file has indeed been invoked from the HTML form. However, it is possible for file names to become cached somewhere. So here are the files that I'm working with in my folder. contest_me.php is processing contest_me.html. Supposing contest_me.php was loaded outside of the form, what would happen? All right, now number one, this is not good. It's not good because we are giving the user some information about our file and folder structure. This is a security issue. You never want to show an error message on your page. Error messages are for you. So what happens if someone accesses this file outside of the form? Let me show you how to handle this. Here is our if statement, and I will click on my left-hand curly brace, and I will find the closing delimiter. It's right down here. Okay, I don't have an else condition. Supposing this does not return true. Supposing it returns false. Supposing this file is not being sent from the form. I can determine that by putting in an else condition. Now I have coded in an else for my main if. Notice that I am using the exit function here. This is a very valuable function, and it was actually discussed a little bit in previous chapter. The exit function does two things. Number one, it gives the user a message, or it will execute whatever code is inside there. Number two, it stops any processing at that point, meaning the user will not even see the rest of the HTML page. Nothing is going to be executed after this statement. Now I will click on my file, and notice I have my message here. If I right-click and look at the source code, I don't see any HTML elements at all because the processing was stopped on top of the doc type. We did not even load the page yet. You can also use the header function to send the person to the form page, in addition to using the exit so that nothing else is displayed. So if I click on this PHP file, notice here I am. When you are checking to make sure that the file has been sent from the form, you should always include the else for security reasons and exit out of that page and/or redirect that page.